R. Balaji is a staff scientist with CDAC, Bangalore, and is associated with it for the past 6 years. He is pursuing his PhD in the area of public information systems and has a number of international and national publications to his credit. I request Balaji to give his presentation.
Thank you, Chair. Before proceeding to my slides, I'd like to first say the theme of my presentation or the theme of my paper. In this paper, I am emphasizing the need for a logical infrastructure, not only a physical infrastructure, but a logical infrastructure where information and services can be offered. So that is the essence of this paper. So let me proceed into it and I will explain further. So my agenda is I will be talking about the concept of community computing. I will be explaining to you what is the concept about and why do we need to follow it. And I will also be telling about the experiments that we have carried out in the past 4 years. What did we did and how did we do it? And the experiences, what are the lessons that we learned through that experiences, and future, what is the plan for it? So that's what I'll be covering up in this talk. So I would like to put up the definition of community computing is like this. The social power of communities coupled with the computing and communication powers of computers. As you know, that almost all social development projects that are being executed in the world and that are being successful involve a community. It is a group of people. And as such, for making the ICT to penetrate to the rural masses and to make everyone get the roots and the benefits of ICT to everyone, we believe that the social power, meaning actually we need to include more and more people and we need to bring in as a community to take the fruits of ICT to them. So what do we mean? We mean by that community is a group of people who live in a close to geographical region. That is how the dictionary of the certain dictionaries of communities we put up, and that is how we use it. So why do we need to work in a community? Because development is easier, faster when people operate in communities. You will be knowing about the microfinancing efforts that has been happening all over the world, where people are actually involved in groups or communities for that efforts to be successful, for the efforts to be fruitful for everyone. So we would like to propose that computing also as an effort has to be taken in a community mode to get the fruits to them. And computing, what we mean? We utilize the computing and communicational strengths of the infrastructure within the social strength of communities for the overall development. So that is what I mean by community computing. So why we need to use it? Because we believe that significant benefits could be achieved in a shorter span of time, and this could enhance the productivity of the people, save their cost, improve their lifestyle, etc. So there may be some questions where you might be thinking in your mind, what about the infrastructure of internet? Is it not a logical infrastructure? Obviously, it is an internet is a logical information infrastructure. But there is a significant difference between the internet as well as the community computing scenario. In internet, actually, if you look at the internet or the World Wide Web as it is today, you could find that the users and the regions are totally unorganized. Actually, people maybe from different parts of the world and different occupations of the world, they actually communicate or enter into the system and use it. And there is no organization as in terms of regions or in terms of users. So what is the problem for this particular thing is you will find that it will become difficult to deliver a specific targeted solution to this to the community of people, to the community of users of the internet. So when I contrast with community computing infrastructure, I mean that it is organized in terms of users and regions. Since we are going to target only people who are living in a very close to geographical regions, we are having a targeted group of people, and most of them will be having a predominantly following one particular occupation. Though there may be n number of occupations within the community, at least the majority of the members will be following an important occupation. So it's highly organized in terms of users and regions, and that makes us easier for delivering region-focused and specific services. So with that basic introduction, let me move to our experiments. So we entered the field in 2000, in the early beginning of 2003. We conducted a lot of surveys, studies and workshops to identify the needs of the rural people. So when we entered at first, they were just telling about the requirements that they would be like to chat, email and things like that. Fine. And we provided them. Then slowly people started asking for educational information and news related information and things like that. And other local service, commodity information, market information, etc. But then slowly we realized that that was alone not sufficient to help the people. Information alone may not be sufficient. You might also have to provide them something useful. Services are much better than that. Say for example, if you try to make them as a group and say implement a community microfinancing model or a community buying or a community selling, and if you automate it and if you try to bring in more benefits, it will be helpful for them. So we converged on three kinds of services on the need, and the first one was the communication services, that was like mail and chat and kind of things. Information services where local information was collected and offered to them, and community services where services like, say for example, community selling. Say for example, in a village, if you take a certain product has been produced by the people there, and if you, instead of selling, say for example, whatever they were harvested from their agricultural land is being sold to somebody, instead of selling individually, they could better work in a cooperative mode and probably can offer in a bunch or a whole lot to the seller, so that they could get a better price, as well as for the packaging and the transportation cost can also be saved. So these are some of the aspects where the community computing aspects can be applied. So community computing aspects can be applied on community selling, community buying and microfinancing, etc. So almost all of the development efforts that involve the group of people as a whole can be studied and implemented as an ICT solutions involving the communities. So what we did was we slowly evolved a framework starting from communication services and then incorporated information services, very emphasized on local content generated by the local people. And then we set up a software called, meaning we incorporated some of the community services, and we evolved a framework called ECO for establishing a community computing platform. So this is the architecture of it, where the first three boxes show the services. And not only that, in a rural scenario, you need to have easier management of the system, and because of there may be the problems in operations due to power supply and things like that, the database might crash and things like that, user management, operation administration, etc. And you should have a really easy to use interface and an intuitive interface, simple system, simple to configure and simple to install. So these are the things that has been put up in this architecture. And we did a couple of pilot deployments. We started with Daan Foundation in Tamil Nadu. They first put up in Melur and followed it with the coastal regions. And we also been closely working with another agency called AFAM in Maharashtra, where a system is being used. And then, of course, we also had some couple of really stable deployments. In the previous two things, actually, we have been continuously experimenting with them in the field. We had been in continuous touch with them, and the touch is there, meaning we are continuously sending our updated versions every now and then from the first Daan Foundation as well as in AFAM cases. And that exists till today for the past 3 years. And for us, for the other people, we have been given a very stabilized version, particularly for MSSRF, that has set up the village knowledge centers near Pondicherry and the Sohad organization in Rajasthan. So these are the pilot deployments that we carried out, from where we have conducted our studies and where we have done our experiments and things like that. And of course, that also tells that the deployment model, the style of our deployment model. So as a technologist, we found that we may not be suitable for directly going into the field and deploying our solutions. So we formed a three-tier architecture, three-tier model of deployment, where we actually as a solution provider would give it to a non-governmental organization or an NGO or a social organization, which will then take the solution to the people. So they set up the kiosk, or they manage, they put up the solutions and they train the people, they create the awareness basically, and then take the solutions to them. So our role was in identifying, by using the NGOs for the social organization, in identifying the need and developing the solutions, and then training the some of the members of the social organizations to pick up the software and to pick up the systems and put it up on the field and run it. So that was our deployment model. And next I would like to jump to the lessons that we learned. And we found that we need to not only offer just the communication services and the infrastructure services. When we started with, we found that, okay, services like, as I said earlier, communication services and information services were very much useful. We even established, we went on to establish a process where the local, the social service provider will collect the local information, say for example, the local market information, the local Boolean information, the local weather information, and put it for the other people's use, for the entire community's usage. But then we also realized that that was not going to be sufficient. That is not, okay, that is helpful for the people, but in the long run it is not going to fetch them much or fetch them more. And slowly what we decided was we identified, we found that the services that we are going to offer has to be coupled with the occupational activities of the community. Say for example, if a community is predominant in agriculture, you need to provide something like, say for example, a service like that allows them to buy, say for example, fertilizers or seeds at a community as a whole. Or say for example, if they are going to sell it, you might have to get the everything, get the actual the collect. Put it as a whole information channel or information grid for the entire nation. That is our, say I can even call it a vision for us. So with that, I think the reference has been given, www.cdacbangalore.in/eco, where you could find the references of our software product and our efforts. And I'd like to have the NGOs to take it to the field. So I'd like to also acknowledge the Department of Information Technology, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Government of India for their support, financial support, as well as the Development Gateway Foundation. Thank you.